in the third canto, 9th chapter. The 9th chapter has been entitled Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy. So as we discussed last time, that in this chapter, Brahma, means the previous chapter, there is the description of how Brahma came into being is there from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And now, after Brahma realizes that how he came, he then offers prayers to the Supreme, to the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who is the Supreme Lord. And in this chapter, from verse 1 to 5, there is a description of Lord's supreme form. And from 6 to 10, there is a description of what is the predicament of the conditioned souls. Like, for example, how the conditioned soul misidentifies with the soul and the body. So because of that misidentification, there is anxiety. And then the people are unfortunate if they don't want to hear about self-realization. And it also discusses about the miserable jivas who are in the threefold miseries in this material world. And why that happens? Because there is a false identification and identification of body as the self. Because of that misidentification, the bodily identification happens. And because of that, the binding happens. And then there is a frustration that develops. So from 6 to 10 is the description of that. From 11 to 13 is Lord's reciprocation with various devotees is explained. From 14 to 19th is actually the description of obeisances unto the Supreme Lord. So Lord Brahma praises the Supreme Lord in different ways, like by merciful holy names, cosmic tree, the time factor, all those different descriptions are there. And this series of verses, which we are going to discuss from 22 to 25, it is Brahmaji's request to Supreme Lord. First, he, in the verse number 22, he requests Supreme Lord or request Garbhodakshaya Vishnu to empower him for creation. And 23rd, he says, protect me from the false ego. Because if that false ego is there, then I cannot do a good job. Because then I would identify myself. And then comes 24th verse, where it says that save me from any other deviations. And now in this verse, he is asking the Lord to open for waking up or opening his eyes, and how he should wake up, and after waking up and giving blessings, so that he can go on to the next step of secondary creation. So he wants that. All these things, Lord is there in the Sheshashai, in the Sheshnag, he is sleeping, his eyes are closed, Lord is in Yoga Nidra, he is listening and he is reciprocating. But now he wants the Lord to wake up, and he wanted to see that. So this verse explains that. So let's recite this verse now. So sab adabhra karuno bhagavan vibruddha.
So savadabhra karuno bhagavan vivriddha.
Premasmitena nayanam buruham vrijambhan.
Premasmitena nayanam buruham vijrimban.
Utthaya vishwavijayaya chano vishadam.
Uttaya vishwavijayaya chano vishadam.
Madhavya gira panayatat purushah purana.
Madhavya gira panayatat purushah purana.
Time. So sab adabhra karuno bhagavan vibruddha.
So savadabhra karuno bhagavan vivriddha.
Premasmitena nayanam buruham vrijambhan.
Premasmitena nayanam buruham vijrimban.
Uttaya vishwavijayaya chano vishadam.
Uttaya vishwavijayaya chano vishadam.
Madhavya gira panayatat purushah purana.
Madhavya पनयतात् पुरुषः पुराणः.
One more time. So Sab Adabhra Karuno Bhagavan Vibruddha
सोऽसावदप्रकरुणो भगवान् विवृद्धा
Premasmitena Nayanam Buruham Vrijambhan
प्रेमस्मितेन नयनाम्बुरुहं विजृम्भन्
Kaya Vishwavijayaya Chano Vishadam
उत्थाय विश्वविजयाय च नो विषादम्.
Madhavyagirapanayat Purushaha Purana
माधव्यगिरापनयतात् पुरुषः पुराणाः.
Thank you. Please do voluntary recitations. Thank you.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
सोऽसावदप्रकरुणो भगवान् विवृद्धा
सावधप्रकरुणो भगवान् विवृद्धा
प्रेमस्मितेन नयनाम्बुरुहं विजृम्भन्
प्रेमस्मितेन नयनाम्बुरुहं विजृम्भन्
उत्थाय विश्वविजयाय च नो विषादम्.
Kaya
विश्वविजयाय नो विषादम्
माधव्यगिरापनयतात् पुरुषः पुराणाः
माधव्यगिरापनयतात् पुरुषः पुराणः.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
सोऽसावदप्रकरुणो भगवान् विवृधा
सोऽसावदप्रकरुणो भगवान् विवृद्धा
प्रेमस्मितेन नयनाम्बुरुहं विजृम्भान्
प्रेमस्मितेन नयनाम्बुरुहं विजृम्भन्
उत्थाय विश्वविजयाय च नो विषादम्
Utthaya
उत्थाय विश्वविजयाय च नो विषादम्
माधव्यागिरापनयतात् पुरुषः पुराणः
माधव्यगिरापनयतात् पुरुषः पुराणः.
Thank you, Mataji. One more. Anybody wants to try?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
स्वसावदभ्रकरुणो भगवान् विवृद्ध
सोऽसावदप्रकरुणो भगवान् विवृद्धः
प्रेमस्मितेन नयनाम्बुरुहं विजृम्भन्
प्रेमस्मितेन नयनाम्बुरुहं विजृम्भन्
उत्थाय विश्वविजयाय च नो विषादम्
उत्थाय विश्वविजयाय च नो विषादम्
माध्वयागिरापनयतात् पुरुषः पुराणः
माधव्यगिरापनयतात् पुरुषः पुराणः.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hari Hari. Thank you, Prabhuji. So, in this verse, now Lord's waking, like Lord Brahma is requesting the Supreme Lord, who is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and he is asking him to please wake up, please rise. So how he does? So Sav Adabhra Karuno, unlimited mercy. O Lord, full of unlimited mercy. Bhagavan is Supreme Lord. Vivruddha Premasmitena Nayanam. So we can just break this up. Like, so Adabhra Karuno, unlimited mercy, by your unlimited mercy, and Nayana Amburuham. Nayana is eyes, Amburuham is lotus-like eyes. Vrijambhan, please open your lotus-like eyes. What will happen with that? Vivruddha Premasmitena. So what will happen? Premasmitena, after opening your eyes, and Premasmitena is, Smita means smile, and Premas means very beautiful smile with lot of love. Vivruddha. So it will increase the prema of whom? Who is looking at the Lord. So, O Lord, because you are unlimitedly merciful, please open your lotus-like eyes and your beautiful smile so that it increases the love in the heart of the devotee who is looking at you. And then, Uthaya Vishwa Vijayaya Chano Vishadam. Uthaya means again, please rise. Vishwa Vijayaya. So when you get up, when this kind of, when Lord wakes up, opens his eyes, what happens? It is such that it, Vishwa Vijaya, it actually wins the entire world, wins the heart of all the living entities in the world. Something in that potency, because Lord is almighty, all powerful. Chana Vishadam, and there is no Vishadam, no sorrow, no distress, nothing is there when you get up. And Madhvya Gira Panayatat. Madhvya means the way the talking. Okay. Gira is to talk, and Madhvya here it says sweet. Madhvya is very madhur. From madhu, madhur, then Madhvya. So very sweet Gira. Gira means to talk, or to say with words. Apatanaya means let him kindly remove. So he says Vishadam. So when you talk, then there is Vishada is removed. And who are, and then he tells about Purusha Purana. Purusha Purana is the oldest supreme object, supreme personality of Godhead. That's what he is saying, Purusha Purana here. Supreme and the oldest. So he's saying, O Supreme, O oldest, O Bhagavan, who is supremely Adabhra Karuna, who is supremely merciful. O Lord, please open your eyes. Open your lotus petal of your eyes and give your very beautiful smile. And when you get up, you do such, and then you talk with your beautiful words or give us instructions. By doing so, by your waking up, you are taking all the Vishada or all the different distress from the hearts of living entities. And by doing so, what will happen? You will give me the inspiration to perform the creative function that you want me to be done. I want to see your beautiful face with your smiling face, as well as your beautiful instruction of words. By that, I can actually be inspired and do my creation. So let's read the translation here.
The Lord, who is supreme and is the oldest of all, is unlimitedly merciful. I wish that he may smilingly bestow his benediction upon me by opening his lotus eyes. He can uplift the entire cosmic creation and remove our dejection by kindly speaking his directions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So Srila Prabhupada now translates his life beautifully. The Lord who is supreme and is oldest of all, Purusha Purana, is unlimitedly merciful, Adabhra Karuna. I wish that he may smilingly bestow his benediction. Smilingly, smita, there was an option, there is what? Prema smitena. Yeah. Smiling his benediction upon me by opening his lotus eyes. Lotus eyes is here. Nayanamburuham. That is here. Opening his Vrijambhan. By doing so, what will he can uplift the entire cosmic creation, Vishwa Vijayaya, and remove our dejection, that is here, Vishadam, and then by kindly speaking his directions. Directions means his instructions when he starts speaking. Beautiful. And you can imagine how beautiful that situation is when Lord is sleeping and when he opens his lotus eyes. It's very difficult to even imagine, but if you try to imagine, it's so beautiful that it can attract everything and anything in this creation, because he is the supreme personality of God, and see, he is supremely beautiful. So when he opens his eyes, he wakes up all the different dejections or distresses or what you say, dukkha, everything is removed. And when the Lord started speaking, those words purify the personality as well as directs what is the goal of life and what has to be done. So that is how it is described to here in translation. So let's read the purport here.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. The Lord is ever increasingly merciful upon the fallen souls of this material world. The whole cosmic manifestation is a chance for all to improve themselves in devotional service to the Lord, and everyone is meant for that purpose. The Lord expand himself into many personalities who are either self-expansion or separated expansions. The personality of individual souls are his separated expansions, whereas the self-expansions are the Lord himself. The self-expansions are predominators and the separated expansions are predominated for reciprocation of transcendental bliss with the supreme form of bliss and knowledge. The liberated souls can join in this blissful reciprocation of predominator and predominated without materially concocted ideas. The typical example of such a transcendental exchange between the predominator and the predominated is the Lord's Ras Leela with the gopis. The gopis are predominated expansion of eternal potency, and therefore the Lord's participation in the Ras Leela dance is never to be considered like the mundane relationship of man and woman. It is rather the highest perfectional stage of the exchange of feelings between the Lord and the living entities. The Lord gives the fallen souls the chance for this highest perfection of life. Lord Brahma is entrusted with the management of the complete cosmic show, and therefore he prays that the Lord bestow his blessings upon him so that he may execute its purpose. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So Srila Prabhupada starts this purport very beautifully, saying that Lord is ever increasingly merciful. So Adabhra Karuna upon the fallen souls of this material world. So who are the fallen souls? We in Lord Brahma is also there, and we are also there. Lord Brahma is on a higher level, but still we come in that category. Then says the whole cosmic manifestation is a chance for all to improve themselves in devotional service to the Lord. It's a chance for all of us to improve. Now, how, and everyone is meant for, and Srila Prabhupada said everyone, nobody is without it. Everyone is meant for that purpose. That is meant, and that has to be there, but we have forgotten. That's why it is, everybody is not doing that. So then he explains, Lord expands himself in two different personalities of self-expansion and separated expansion. Separated expansion or Vibhinnansha and Swansha. So Swansha is what? Lord having the forms which is very equal to himself. For example, forms of the Lord, like Lord Krishna expands into Lord Balaram, and then Chaturvyaha and Narasimhadev, all different incarnations are there, and then Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. All these are self-expansion or Swansha. What are separated expansions? Here it says, individual souls are separated expansions. We, from Lord Brahma up to the ant, or we also are included there, are his separated expansions. Here, the self-expansions are predominators. Means they have a predominating role, and we are controlled by that. So we can say self-expansions are controllers, and we are controlled. So are predominated for the reciprocation of transcendental bliss with the supreme form of bliss and knowledge. So beautifully here we have to see the separated expansions are predominated for what they're predominated for? Reciprocation of transcendental bliss. So the reciprocation is what? Interaction between the Bhagavan and the Bhakta. That beautiful reciprocation is meant for is meant for us, but we because of the layers or coverings, we are not, or forgetfulness, we are not going in that direction. What for reciprocation of the transcendent? Now, in this verse, who is who is reciprocating and who is getting the reciprocation?
Jivas, Prabhu.
Yeah, Jivas. But in this case, in this verse specifically, who are the two different personalities here?
Brahma and the Lord.
Yeah. So Brahma is representing the separated expansion, and Lord is representing the Swansha, supreme form of bliss and knowledge, and that's what he wants. That's why he's saying you are supremely merciful by your lotus eyes. Opening your lotus eyes, you are giving pleasure. That's what he is mentioning, right? So that is the reciprocation of transcendental bliss. The liberated souls, like Lord Brahma also come in those categories, can join in this blissful reciprocation. So they can join in of the predominator and predominant. So he is watching the Supreme Lord and he is experiencing also that, because he's liberated to that extent to understand that. And that is by the mercy of the Lord. But for us, it's so difficult to understand because we are still in the process of moving there. But once we go into that stage of liberation means liberation can mean so many different things. But here, what I mean is once go very high, very advanced in the process of bhakti, then this reciprocation becomes very like supreme form of bliss and knowledge is experienced. So here it says liberated souls can join in this without materially concocted ideas. So they don't have any other ideas because they know they are interacting with the Supreme Lord and he's beyond any material thing. So that's why spiritually inclined ideas or reciprocations or bliss, they are always in that mood. So the typical example is transcendental exchange between the predominator and predominated is Lord's Rasa Leela with the gopis. So here in this example, who is the predominator and who is the predominated?
Gopis are predominated and the Lord is predominated.
That is so beautiful. So here, but they are expansions of his internal potency. So that's the very higher level of understanding. So Lord's participation in the rasa dance is never to be considered like mundane. That's why we cannot understand this kind of relationship. So people misunderstand this and say that it's like relationship between man and woman. It's beyond that. Like how Brahmaji is relishing the smile of the Lord, the opening of the eyes of the Lord, means it's very difficult. Like somebody would think, what is there if somebody is sleeping and getting up? But it is not somebody, it's a Supreme Lord. And when he does in a way which is very difficult for even yogis to understand. So that's how it's rather the highest perfectional stage. So Brahmaji interacting and experiencing that is the highest perfectional stage of exchange of feelings. But it is further highest in case of gopis and Krishna, their Rasa Leela exhibition. It is there, exchange of between the Lord and the living entities. The Lord gives the fallen souls a chance for his highest perfection in life. Lord Brahma is, so now coming back to this verse, Lord Brahma is interested with the management of the complete cosmic show. So he has to do the creation part. So he had to manage, so that the Vishwa Vijaya, that term is coming here. And therefore he prays that the Lord bestow his blessings upon him. So when you open your eyes, when you wake up, when you see me, and when you give me instructions, I would be getting the blessings so that I can execute my creation. That's what Brahmaji is saying. So what in it for us is to understand that, as Srila Prabhupada said, that there is a relationship between predominated and predominator and predominated, and there is a beautiful reciprocation which is there. And it can only be achieved at the very higher level, at a higher understanding of bhakti. But we can get a little taste when we start in the process of bhakti. So that little taste, with that little taste, we go on with faith, we move on. And then when we move on, then that stage will come when we have that experience. And by looking Lord's face and Lord's form, every problems, every distress, whatever we can think of, is all taken away, and we feel supremely blissful. So that is what I think of. So any other thoughts? Any else pause here? Any other thoughts, discussion?